Right now, you can walk into a grocery store, pick up almost anything on the shelf, and know with complete certainty it won't kill you. Someone already tested it. Governments regulate it. Scientists analyzed it. You are the end beneficiary of thousands of years of accumulated food knowledge, handed to you quietly, invisibly, at no cost. Now imagine none of that exists. You are standing in a forest 50,000 years ago. You are hungry. In front of you are berries, mushrooms, roots, leaves, insects, and plants you have never seen before. Some of them will feed you. Some of them will kill you in hours. Some will kill you slowly over days in ways that feel indistinguishable from nothing until it is far too late. You have no chemistry lab. You have no books. You have no warning labels. How do you eat? No, this sounds like a problem with no good answer, but ancient humans solved it so completely that they populated every continent on Earth, survived ice ages, crossed oceans, and thrived in deserts, jungles, and frozen tundras, all while figuring out what was safe in each completely new environment they entered. And the way they did it reveals something strange and deeply underestimated about early human intelligence. The first tool was the body itself. Human disgust is not random. It is an ancient alarm system, refined over millions of years of evolutionary trial and error. Rotting meat smells repulsive because your ancestors who found it appealing died before passing on their genes. Bitter tastes trigger immediate suspicion because many plant toxins are bitter. Sour tastes flag potential fermentation or spoilage. Sweet flavors signal caloric density, energy. Your nose and your tongue are running a threat analysis every single time you eat. They have been doing it far longer than your conscious brain has existed. But instinct only gets you so far. Plants are where it gets genuinely complicated. Animals have obvious danger signals. A snake looks threatening. A predator behaves a certain way. But a mushroom sitting quietly in the leaf litter offers almost no visible warning. Thousands of edible and deadly plants look nearly identical. The differences that separate safe from lethal are often invisible, buried in chemistry, not appearance. So ancient humans did something that almost no other animal does to the same degree. They ran experiments, deliberately small ones. The behavioral strategy that researchers now call cautious sampling is exactly what it sounds like. You encounter an unfamiliar plant, you smell it. If it passes, you touch a tiny amount to your lip. Wait. If nothing burns, you place a tiny fragment on your tongue. Wait longer. If your mouth stays normal, you eat a very small amount, and then you wait hours. You watch your body carefully. If nothing changes, you eat a little more the next day. This is slow, methodical food science with no equipment except time and attention. And it worked well enough that modern foraging traditions still use almost identical logic today, but individual testing alone could never build a food system. You are one person. You will only ever encounter a fraction of the plants in your environment. You might die before completing a test, and all of that knowledge disappears the moment you do. This is where human social intelligence changed everything. In a hunter-gatherer band of 30 people, if one person learns that a particular root causes violent illness 2 days after eating it, that information becomes shared property immediately. The group updates. Everyone now knows. In small, tight-knit communities where people spent their entire lives together, this kind of knowledge circulated constantly, refined through generations of direct experience and direct consequence. Over centuries, that accumulated knowledge became something extraordinary, not written down, not cataloged, but carried through stories, warnings, rituals, songs, and direct demonstration from one generation to the next. A grandmother showing a child which mushrooms to avoid. A hunter describing what happened to someone who ate unfamiliar berries near the river. Specialized knowledge treated as genuinely valuable, carefully protected, and carefully transmitted. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have repeatedly found that their botanical knowledge is vast and precise. The Hadza people of Tanzania can identify hundreds of plant species and know exactly which parts are edible, which are medicinal, and which are toxic at what quantities. Kung San of southern Africa carried detailed knowledge of dozens of root species, including which preparation methods neutralize toxins that would otherwise cause serious harm. Preparation itself became a technology, and this part is remarkable. Many plants that are genuinely toxic in raw form become completely safe when processed correctly. Cassava, a staple food across large parts of the ancient world, contains cyanide compounds in its raw state. Soaking it, fermenting it, and cooking it drives those compounds off entirely. Acorns contain bitter tannins that cause severe digestive distress when eaten raw, but leaching them in water over time eliminates the problem completely. Ancient humans discovered these processing methods not purely through luck, but through systematic observation. Someone noticed that the same plant, prepared differently, produced completely different results. Someone made that connection. Someone passed it forward. Animals were sometimes teachers too. Watching what other species ate was a genuine survival shortcut, though ancient humans learned quickly that it came with important caveats. Birds could tolerate certain berries that were lethal to primates. Goats safely ate plants that made humans violently ill. Animal behavior was useful data, not a guarantee, and over time, humans built mental maps of which animals were reliable guides and which were not. And then there was fire. Cooking transformed the human food supply more dramatically than almost any other development in history. Heat destroys a vast range of microbial threats. It denatures proteins, breaks down cell walls, and neutralizes many plant toxins that no amount of cautious raw sampling would have made safe. When humans began cooking food systematically, the number of things they could safely eat expanded dramatically. The cognitive load of navigating a dangerous food environment dropped significantly. Cooking also created communal eating. Food was prepared together and shared. This meant the risks of testing something new were distributed across the group. If something went wrong, everyone knew faster. If something worked, more people benefited immediately. The campfire was not just a cooking device, it was a food information network. What all of this reveals is something scientists have only recently started taking seriously. Ancient humans were not guessing. They were applying systematic observation, cautious experimentation, social knowledge sharing, and accumulated generational wisdom to one of the most chemically complex environments on Earth. And they were remarkably good at it. The evidence is everywhere. Humans reached Australia roughly 65,000 years ago and successfully identified safe food sources on a continent where the majority of species had never been encountered by any human being before. Every continent humans entered was a completely new food problem. Every time, they solved it. Not because they were lucky, because they were paying close attention in ways that required real intelligence, real communication, and real cooperation stretched across generations and across time. The next time you eat something without a second thought, you are drawing on an unbroken chain of carefully accumulated knowledge stretching back tens of thousands of years. Somewhere far back in that chain, someone sat with an unfamiliar plant, took a cautious bite, waited in silence, survived, and made sure the people around them knew what they had learned. They didn't know they were doing it for you, but they were.